Hello and welcome to Watchin' Stuff, the show about watching stuff. And after
2 weeks?
2 weeks, we'll explain what happened. 1 week was solely dedicated to us working to get the Samurai Jack review out for Series 5.
Yeah.
By all means, be sure to go check that out. It was a cool season. Just check out the video. If you haven't seen that, I do also recommend watching the first half, which the first portion covers my thoughts and critiquing of seasons 1 through 4.
Yep, so that explains that week. But the week before, we were trying to work on our Cartoon Network month. We're going to review a bunch of Cartoon Network movies and such. And we started off with regular show, and that went fine. But then we went on to Dexter's Lab Ego Trip. The first recording went well, but then the footage got deleted in the transfer and everything. And then we had several different recordings after that.
This took us, no joke, we tried on at least 6 separate occasions to sit down and discuss Dexter's Lab Ego Trip. 6 times, and every time, after the first one, it was a file transfer error. Sucks, but it happens. We could deal with that. We were fine.
Yeah.
We said, oh shit, that sucks, but you know what? No big. We'll pick up on it. We try to record, and my computer crashes. We try and record again, and my computer crashes. And we try and record again, and my computer crashes. So you know what? Dexter's Lab Ego Trip can go fuck itself. It gets a rock bottom. It would have gone a fucking... It would have gone a must-see or a good watch. You know what? Fuck it. Gets a rock bottom. Because that is bullshit.
I'll give it an actual rating and not just a petty one like Nero's giving. It's a good watch.
It's not petty.
Yeah, it's petty.
It's not petty. It's not petty. The fucking movie was fucking cursed.
No, it was just bad coincidence after bad coincidence.
Okay, no. A coincidence is it happens maybe once or twice. 6 times? It's a fucking curse. It is like the mummy itself came from ancient Egypt and was like, and cursed us.
Whatever you say, man. I'll give it a good watch. It was a fun, goofy little thing. They had time travel and all that sort of stuff.
It's a cool flick, but fuck that.
Yeah.
You know why? Because we were talking, and Whyboy, this is sort of your brain baby, but you said,
Brain baby.
shut the fuck up. You had told me that there's so many rising artists coming out now more than ever that want to produce animation, and with the advent of something like YouTube, people are able to post their creations online, allowing the world at large to see what they do, and in a way, it allows us as fans, as watchers, to come together and say to the creator, we would support you on this if you were to follow this endeavor. I remember a while back you had shown me Infinity Train.
Yeah.
And I had seen it with you, and I said to you, I'm like, man, I hope Cartoon Network picks this up, because this looks really good.
Yeah, then we also watched stuff like Nova Seed as well, and we could see where people can go off from there. Just like we had the raw base of it as its own movie, but you said yourself you wanted to see it more in graphic novel form, or just expanding on itself. And we can see that in a lot of online animation. There's a lot of experimentation going on with different art styles and such. And that's sort of what I wanted to go into, which is what, my old series Whyboy Spotlight is all about. Just spotlighting different sort of animated movies and such. But I wanted to transition into actually going into online animation.
That makes sense, too, because even though we're a small channel at the time of this video, who knows where we'll be in a couple of years or anything, but as a current channel we are right now, even though we are small, we do find that why not, in a way, give back to the community? Why not give back to our fellow artists who love animation so much that they'll actually make it?
Yeah.
Why not give back to them a little bit? And I like that idea. I really thought you had a good idea, and I ended up going on Facebook, and I found us a short thesis film
Yeah, someone asked us to review it, right?
No one asked us. Someone just posted it online, and I found it, and I said, oh, man, is it cool if, I discuss this on our show? I didn't want anyone to be uncomfortable about it. Mm-hmm. But someone, the person who had posted said, oh, yeah, sure, go for it. That'd be really cool. The thesis film is created by, so excuse me if I mispronounce your name.
Yeah, Michelle Krivenek, something like that. Yeah,
Michelle Krivenek, which sounds like it might be Russian or Hungarian or something. I don't know. Really cool last name, though. Yeah. It's not a common name, so that's why it's so cool. Student from the School of Visual Arts did this 2017 thesis film called Bookaneer, which, I gotta bring this up. There is a novel called The Last Bookaneer.
It's spelled the exact same way.
It's spelled the exact same way. Michelle, I'm just saying, be careful in terms of legality. I'm not saying you're at fault or anything. I'm saying there are dicks out there that would sue people for less.
Yeah.
So just be cautious.
Yeah, definitely if you want to just expand this into something else, which just going into our final thoughts already, we feel that this could go off into different, bigger places, we feel.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a novel called The Last Bookaneer by Matthew Pearl, so just be cautious, I'm sure your intent was because your story, obviously the way it's described, you have your main character, a curious librarian that's named Abigail or Abby, and she gets pulled into a book that has this sort of science Final Fantasy kind of esque adventure, dirigibles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The very high fantasy concept. And obviously the male character that Abby teams up with, Zeph, is meant to be a sky pirate. Mm-hmm. So obviously Bookaneer is a portmanteau of Buccaneer and book. Again, I think it's a brilliant name, honestly. I bet you didn't even know there was a novel called The Last Bookaneer. I didn't know either until I was trying to relook up your video.
Yeah, you were just doing research and just oh crap, Bookaneer's been used twice. Dang it.
Well, I know names have been used repeatedly, but especially when it's a portmanteau name, it's not a name you think that would occur multiple times. The name Bookaneer, it's a play on Buccaneer and book. So, how often was that really going to come up?
Not too often.
As a title. But, yeah, so the premise is that you have this girl named Abby who works in a library. And one day the creature shows up, right? This adorable little ink creature.
Yeah, this little ink creature. She drops her pen and the little ink creature pops out and just going ooh, yeah, look at all these books and such. Let me just eat the words off it. But Abby's going about her business and opens up the book where Zeph is in. And Zeph just comes to life in the book and just say, oh, come on in. We're going to have loads of swashbuckling adventures. So Abby is pulled into the book and she comes into this sort of sky land place where Zeph is just taking her around the town. And it's a very vibrant looking town and such. That is until the big evil Inkblot monster just finally grows and grows, eating the whole world around them. And then after the whole world is eaten, Abby is kicked out of the book. But Abby decides no, I have my pen. I'm going to fight this ink monster. So she jumps back in, awesome. Beats the ink monster, and the day is saved.
Doesn't she keep the little ink monster as a companion?
Yeah, basically just sucks up all the ink until the ink monster is just a little Pikachu thing again. Just oh god, you're marketable now. Let's put you on my shoulder.
Yeah, I like that we joked about that when we watched it. We got to the part where Abby defeats the ink creature and it shrinks back down to a small little creature, and it looks all scared, and she's all sweet to it because she feels bad because it was just trying to eat. It wasn't malicious or anything. It was just an animal. It was just trying to survive. Mm-hmm. And it's when she picks it up and it's all cute and everything, I looked at you and I'm that's the thing that someone said that's the toyetic portion of the short. This is the one that we can make all the plushies and shit off of.
Yeah, but when it comes to these sort of independent projects, you do think of those sort of toyetic sort of things because that is what
you
people
should.
Come off of
that
thing I grab onto.
Honestly, Michelle should go to Etsy or Shapeway and look for an artist that's willing to craft a prototype for commission so she can sell plushies of that creature and use that to perhaps fund a bigger project. I really hope that she actually follows suit on this and does maybe a Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. I honestly think a Kickstarter would be really cool if you if you can line up a strong forefronting pitch with Kickstarter, because honestly, I have not seen anyone produce a film yet with Kickstarter. Or, like, really an animated project. I think the closest was Inafune, the guy who created Mighty Number 9 and then stole $200 from me because he never sent me the game.
I can show you another movie sometime that was produced through Kickstarter called Dick Figures the Movie. That's also based on an animated series online.
That's those Stick Figure Bros, right?
Yep.
If Michelle gives it a shot, I think if she goes through Kickstarter, it has the potential to be backed. Personally, I've always been a strong forefront believer for the graphic novel medium because part of it is, one, less expensive. Mm-hmm. It's a lot cheaper to get something like that than animation. Animation costs a lot of money. I think I only just recently heard that with all the money they made on the original Kickstarter for the Goon, that only paid for the animatic of the Goon film. So, like, it didn't pay for the Goon movie. It paid for the rough stuff that could be turned into a movie.
Yeah, that makes it all the more sad in the end. It's like, oh my god, all that work and we just got the animatic now.
Just give me my fucking Goon movie, goddammit.
Well, they're gonna need more money for that.
Yeah, and that's like, oh, now we're gonna take even more of your money. I think with Michelle, though, go graphic novel with this. Going to Image Comics, I argue that you construct it and make a pitch to Image and see if they'll pick it up for publication, because I can see this as a cool, all-ages book that has action and adventure and comedy and some drama. In a lot of ways, you know, it could easily appeal to the same... Like, if you're a Steven Universe fan, I feel like this is the kind of property that would really appeal to you as a person, because even for a, 6-minute short, there's a lot of heart to it. Yeah, there's no dialogue in it. You know, again, it's a thesis film, it's a short, but for a silent picture with just music to carry it, it gets its pitch across very well, and I think it could easily be picked up.
Yeah, you definitely get a lot of the emotion through just the music and such and the facial expressions. You're able to tell what Zeph and Abby are thinking just by their basic movements and such. You can see Zeph as just sort of like, not womanizing, but basically sort of the suave pirate that's just wooing Abby off her feet throughout the whole adventure.
He's not a lech or anything. He's more of the charming rogue. If you ever saw The Princess Bride, the Dread Pirate Roberts, Wesley, he's a pirate, but he's also very charming. And it's not a sleazy charming. It's a genuine kind of charming where you're like, I would hang out with this dude and go on some badass adventures through books. And I think it's cool because if you remember the end cards, they actually did it better where it's like, from the end cards alone, it looks like they're inhabiting the worlds.
And I feel that basically for Michelle, she really does know the graphic novel style. Like when I was researching her artwork, I noticed her series, Alice and the Nightmare, and I noticed how much of such a bold coloring she has to that. Like, sure, that series is much more different. It's much more mixture of the dark and lights and such. Well, this one is just more like a bright, fun adventure series.
I think in a lot of ways, and I don't know if this was intentional, like she was, this was something she was trying to do. I can't help but think it's sort of it sort of could be educational in a way, because she could have, by going to the different books, she could be teaching a younger audience to appreciate other forms of literature. Like, they showed, like, a picture during the ending credits, like, Sherlock Holmes. And, like, how many kids really know who Sherlock Holmes is anymore?
Yeah, that is very interesting to have that sort of tangential learning opportunity. Like, because we have had book, series in the past where we had this characters going into different books and such, and just sort of, like, being more heavy-handed learning and such. When this one, it's light enough to basically just get kids interested in it, but just not bore them to tears with it.
And I like that. I like the idea too of just introducing kids to other books, because I've actually met individuals, obviously younger than me, who don't know things like what The Wizard of Oz is, or like they've seen the Tim Burton, Johnny Depp, Alice in Wonderland, and they're like, "Oh, that's a neat movie. You know, that's a book, right?" And I know people who are like, "There's a book called Alice in Wonderland," and I'm just, the fuck? Really? it's like one of the quintessential forms of literature, isn't it? And like all of us, like, I'm telling you, if it ever comes to a point where someone's like, they see a Dr. Seuss movie and they don't know that he was a guy that wrote books, that's where it's officially like, you know what? Turn off the sun. Life is just pointless. Fade away.
Yeah, definitely there needs to be more of an intrigue of just reading books of the past and such.
The only other thing I'd really like to highlight before we give final verdicts on it is William, I think it's Asenzo, I think I'm pronouncing his name. He was the guy who did the music for this piece.
Really does like carry the animation and such, and it just melds together perfectly with everything.
Like if this was just one dude on a computer, holy shit, man, you were doing something that like orchestras try to achieve in terms of like a mesmerizing melody.
And it probably took him a few months to do that.
Yeah, I can't begin to imagine how hard that is.
Oh yeah.
This is a cool flick. I like the fact too it was also nominated for Best Character Animation and Best Film at 2017's Dusty Awards. That's really cool. Yeah. That's really cool to be nominated.
Yeah, it definitely deserves the sort of accolades, because it definitely shows how much time and effort's going into it. Definitely the fluent animation, the beautiful music, and definitely just the emotion in the facial expressions and such. Really just propels it into being one of the most I don't really know the right way to phrase it, but it's just like it's the most simply emotional movie that I've seen in the short style of it.
It's a movie that you watch and in 6 minutes you just get that kind of feel-good feeling.
Yeah.
Where it's like you see it and it kind of sucks because then it ends and you're just like, shit,
I want more of that. More of this.
You know, I want another adventure. So, you know, I think our verdicts go without saying, right? It's a must-see.
Mm-hmm. Must-see, definitely.
Right?
Yeah, we'll be placing links to either the Vimeo or the YouTube links in the description below so you guys can go check it out as well.
And I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, give this short a lot of love. Share it around as much as you can. Definitely just push it out there. Let's reach a million views.
Look, in a fucking era where Cartoon Network shows Teen Titans Go, or as I like to call it, Teen Titans Go Fuck Yourself, I really think there needs to be more of a push for more original creative properties. Now more than ever. Look, we all know Nickelodeon is a dead endeavor, especially when you consider the fact that, according to like Nickelodeon, they just greenlit SpongeBob to go until like 2020. We have Teen Titans Go Fuck Yourself running how many hours a day now? It's not like, dude, do you remember when we saw that schedule for like Cartoon Network and it was like 12 consecutive hours of Teen Titans Go? And you just sit there and you're like, do you not have any other shows?
Yeah, even if you like Teen Titans Go, that seems like absolute favoritism over one series.
Look, I love Ed, Edd and Eddy. I think it was an awesome cartoon. But even when Cartoon Network was showing Ed, Edd and Eddy non-stop on Cartoon Network, even I was like, look, I love the Eds. The Eds are great. Y'all need to back the fuck up, though.
Yeah, really.
I'd like to watch something else. Maybe some, like, Billy and Mandy would be good.
Yeah,
sort of any other cartoon?
Yeah, the sort of binge watching is just like series going on and on and on is fine for like a day special. Like, oh look, it's Scooby-Doo Day. Watch all these movies all in a row. Ooh, but not just like watch Scooby-Doo non-stop for hours on end.
I honestly argue the only show I could watch non-stop, no matter what, is fucking Looney Tunes. Because first off, they're all very short, and they're all just very funny, like, vignettes of just wacky antics, and that's it.
Yeah, they're like 8 minutes apiece. Like, and they don't really, like, it's not like really watching the same show over and over again. It's like different setups each time, so there's more variety.
Yeah, it's not always just Bugs and Daffy dicking around. There are multiple characters. Like, at some point, you watch, like, the same show and over, and you just have to ask yourself, like, how fucking stupid are these people? It gets to just sort of that point.
Yeah.
I think we live in an age now where the beauty of like the internet is we can find creatives out there, and if they're willing to share their content with us, the best we could do in return is share back. Let their content get the exposure they need. Let's be like the days of old, be a patron of the arts. In fact, Michelle actually does have a Patreon at, we'll put a link in the description, but it's patreon.com/MishaCakes. MISHACAKES. Be sure to check it out. If you can drop a couple bucks in the bin to support a fellow artist, go and do that. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys think of any sort of short films or any sort of big animators out there that you would think need a bit more exposure, place down in the comments below.
And if there's a short you want to actually share with us, yeah, you make a great idea, though. If there are shorts why not? Maybe we could spotlight some on the show.
Yeah, exactly. We got a whole Watchin' Stuff special of just animated shorts.
Yes, because the last Watchin' Stuff special worked out so well for us.